There are 10 teeny tiny firemen in a teeny tiny truck. How many T's are in that?
I don't know. How many?
2.
You're listening to the Children's Hour, live from the Levitated Toy Factory.
Yep. Uh-huh. Yep. It's Chuck Taylor, the one and only all-star. It's a fire in the city, calling all cars. See, you can't put it out, let the boy breathe. And I'ma blow through the world like tumbleweeds, with a flow that'll get you all moving. Chuck Taylor, the all-star movement. Heat City, the rest on the wrong end. I'm just sitting and I'm flowing like grown men. On the radio, I'ma get a song in. You sound bad like you writing with the wrong pen. Don't erase enough, I'm erasing ya. Billy on the mic, I'm lyrically chasing ya. On top, move along, I'm replacing ya. Don't stop on the song like I'm racing ya. I'm the best in the business. You can ask anybody in the city, they saying the kid is.
Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game up, get paid.
Yep.
Hey now, you're an all-star. Put your hands up, Chuck Taylor. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game up, get paid.
Yep.
Hey now, you're an all-star. Put your hands up, Chuck
Look who stepped in the game. All the other kids at recess. I'm all over it. Never let the beat rest. It's nothing but MC control. Move the crowd like the hips to my Wii remote. Yeah, I'm running the game, you be control. Like a dragon, I got a lot of heat to blow. See the fire in my eyes. So on top, I'm getting higher than the skies. CHUCTAY. LOR, I want a piece of the pie. Slice of the cake, shake and the fries. Buzz in the streets, a walking beehive. About to take flight, look your heat rise. See, I'm an all-star, you can see why. I'm recognized to be the best in the business. You can ask anybody in the city, they saying the kid is.
Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game up, get paid. Hey now, you're an all-star. Put your hands up, Chuck Taylor. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game up, get paid. Hey now, you're an all-star. Put your hands up, Chuck Taylor.
I'm nothing like the average, everyday type kid. Above average, like the grades I get. Straight A's and nothing less than that. And y'all cats can't rap, getting F's and that. Listen up, I'm a kid, but I got the game rap tight. Ain't another kid my age who rap right, or rap is nice. Flow ain't packaged right. See, you really ain't the rapping type. It's alright, I'm a rap for the underage MCs and make being young fun and trendy. Wearing all-stars with the fat laces. Late too young for grills, so we got braces. T-shirt to match the shoestrings. Converse belt holding up the blue jeans. Having everybody doing it, young and old. Grab a hold to the all-star movement.
Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game up, get paid. Hey now, you're an all-star. Put your hands up, Chuck Taylor. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game up, get paid.
Yep.
Hey now, you're an all-star. Put your hands up, Chuck Taylor.
All-Star. That is Chuck Taylor from a CD called The All-Star. He was a little guy. Recorded that a long time ago, back in 2009. Hello, this is the Children's Hour. We are live at the Levitated Toy Factory. There's a whole lot of people here, and including a lot of people on our crew. And we're delighted to have all of you. Hello to everyone on the crew. Hello. Hi. Let's start over here. Who's with us?
Hello, this is Elliot.
Good morning, I'm Kaya.
Hello, it's Maggie.
Hello, this is Julia.
Good morning, I'm Sienna.
Hello, it's Haley.
Hi, it's Siobhan.
Hi, it's Aslan.
Hi, it's Annabella. Hi, it's Ava. Hi, it's Mackenzie. Hi, it's Mila.
Hi, it's Ethan. Hi, it's Ethan.
Hi, it's Soren. Hi, it's Evan. Hi, it's Mila. Hi, my name is Evelyn Rose Eddings.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Octavia.
And there's more kids in here, but they're kind of shy. Did I miss anybody? Anybody? Yeah, come on over, say hi.
Hi, I'm Leela.
Oh, hello, everyone.
Hello, it's Demon Steve.
Demon Steve, did you follow us to the levitated toy factory?
I mean, I just saw your advertisements for it.
And so here you are. Demon Steve, I like this new persona. It's a lot less scary than the last time you came with us.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking on a new form. Well, Demon Steve's here. Everyone's here. We got a whole bunch of people in the audience here. And you all, today on the show, we have firefighters here in the studio. And I just want to say...
It sounds like we made the noise of a fire truck.
Yeah, we almost did. Woo! The firefighters are here. I know some of the kids on our crew actually have firefighters in their family, don't you? Yeah, come on up to the mic. Yeah, who's in your family?
My dad's a firefighter.
He is. And your dad too?
Yes. Well, because we're sisters.
My
Your
dad
sister.
used to be a fighter.
Your dad used to be a firefighter too? Wow, firefighters are pretty brave, huh? They do a lot of great work in our community, and we're going to find out all about that. But before we get to that, I wondered if there was any news in the studio. Yeah.
I got a dog.
Aww.
That's the greatest news of all time.
That is the greatest news. What kind of dog did you get?
I got a terrier mix.
Aww.
We have...
That sounds cute.
It does sound cute.
We have Scottish Terriers.
So they're cute.
Yes.
So if you look very carefully, the whole top of my nose has a big scar on it. That's from a terrier.
That's terrible.
It was a terrier. Hey, you know who we forgot to introduce over here? We forgot to introduce Rowan McJimsey.
Hello.
He's tickling the keyboard for us here live on the show. And we're going to be with you until 10 o'clock this morning, and we're going to be talking firefighters, we're going to be talking safety, and women in firefighting, too. We're going to have a special emphasis on that today. Some of our guests today include Battalion Chief Emily Kane, and Lieutenant Tom Ruiz, and Lieutenant Matt Burnham, and they're here to talk with us. We also have a fire truck. Is it here? It's on the side of the building over here at the Levitated Toy Factory. If you want to join us, it's not too late. We're at 7th and Silver, and anyone can explore that fire truck any old time and go wander all over it. I know I want to get out there too. And you know what I was thinking, Rowan? I was thinking, as I was planning this show, I was thinking about how did I learn about firefighters. And honestly, how I learned about firefighters was on Sesame Street. Do I have any Sesame Street fans in the audience? Yeah? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I learned about firefighters from this song. This is Bob and the Anything Muppets.
Oh, who are the people in your neighborhood? In your neighborhood, in your neighborhood. Say, who are the people in your neighborhood? The people that you meet each day.
Oh, hi there, little fella.
Oh,
Hey, listen, you know who you could be if I gave you this little hat and a bag to carry over your shoulder?
I could be a laundryman.
No, not a laundry
How about
man.
Santa Claus?
No, not Santa Claus.
What's wrong with Santa Claus?
There's nothing wrong with Santa Claus.
Don't
but
you like Christmas?
Oh, I love Christmas, but you could be the postman.
A postman? Oh, the postman always brings the mail. Through rain or snow or sleet or hail. I'll work and work the whole day through to get your letter safe to you.
'cause a postman is a person in your neighborhood.
In your neighborhood.
He's in your neighborhood.
A
Postman is a person in your neighborhood. A person that you meet each day.
I'll see you around.
Okay.
What's it? Where are you going, to a fire?
Hey, speaking of a fire.
Fire? What fire? Help!
No, there's no fire at all, but you know who you could be if I gave you this little shiny red hat?
Yeah, Santa Claus.
No, not Santa Claus. No.
Red Riding Hood.
No, not Red Riding Hood. You could be a fireman.
A fireman? Holy smoke! fireman is brave, it's said. His engine is a shiny red. If there's a fire anywhere about, well, I'll be sure to put it out.
'Cause a fireman is a person in your neighborhood.
In your neighborhood.
He's in your neighborhood.
And a postman is a person in your neighborhood.
Well, they're the people that you meet
when you're walking down the street.
They're the people that you meet each day.
People in Your Neighborhood, done by Bob and the Anything Muppets. This is the Children's Hour. I'm Katie Stone. We are broadcasting live from the Levitated Toy Factory with a whole lot of people here. Hello, everyone. And with me on the show today and all of us is Lieutenant Tom Ruiz. And you're the public information officer right now for the Albuquerque Fire Rescue, correct?
Correct, yes I am.
Welcome to the Children's Hour.
Thanks so much for having me.
We talked to you briefly where I came to your office last year, and I'm going to just step this way so I can actually see you. We came to your office last year, and we talked to you for a little bit. On your shirt, though, it says Lieutenant T.A. Ruiz, paramedic.
Correct. So I'm a paramedic with Albuquerque Fire Rescue. Every single fireman and firefighter is a EMT basic. That's one of the requirements to being a firefighter. And about a third of us are paramedics.
Wow, and that means you can save our lives.
We all can save lives, yes. But being a paramedic is just a little bit more education in terms of EMS and what we can do out in the field.
But what do firefighters actually do?
That's a great question. So, as we all know, when there's an emergency or something has, someone has some type of crisis, we all know that we can call 911. So our main job is to respond to those 911 calls, whether that's a car accident, whether a loved one is having some type of a medical emergency, say an asthma attack, or maybe someone had slipped and fall. There's a large amount of calls that we go to, but primarily our job is to respond to those 911 emergencies.
How do you know if there's a fire?
Well, that's a good question. So in our system, when somebody calls 911, they say, well, what is your emergency and where is your emergency at? And at that point, that person would say, there's a fire in my house, or if it's a medical emergency, they would say, someone in my family needs help.
And how many do you think, percentage-wise, of your calls are actually fires?
A really small amount. The way our system works right now, we run approximately 300 calls a day. At the end of 2018, the total amount of calls that we ran last year was just shy of 110,000 calls. 85 to 87% of those calls are EMS-based calls. So a really small amount are actual fires. When the fire department began in 1900, the amount of fires were much greater, took up a much greater percentage of the actual calls. But the way our society has sort of progressed in terms of fire prevention, we've done a much better job of preventing fires before they actually happen.
What made you want to be a firefighter?
That's a great question. A long time ago, I was in a sort of crisis where I needed help, and some firemen came and helped me, and that sparked my interest. And the reason I wanted to become a fireman was to be able to help people the way I was helped when I was a young person.
How do you feel when you go in fires or paramedical emergencies?
There is a large adrenaline rush. There certainly is. We are trained to go on emergencies, all types of emergencies. We do a lot of training. So we're prepared to go to any type of emergency, whether it's a car accident or into a fire. But I would say that it's a pretty big adrenaline rush, and you get a huge amount of satisfaction knowing that when you do help somebody, that's what you're paid to do, and that's what you're there for.
How long have you been a firefighter?
I've been a firefighter for 14 years. I was hired in 2004, so I am on my 15th year with Albuquerque Fire Rescue.
How many people can fit in a fire truck?
Well, that's a good question. So there's different types of fire trucks. There's ladder trucks, there's fire engines, there's rescue trucks. So on the big ladder trucks that you see, typically we have 3 people on those. On your sort of normal fire trucks, there's 4. And on the paramedic rescue trucks, there's 2. So it depends on which truck.
Well, we have a lot of great questions for you here from our kids, and there's a lot more to say. You brought some fellow firefighters with you today. Before they come on the air, and we're going to talk to them in just a few minutes, who did you bring and why did you bring them?
So with us today, I have Battalion Chief Emily Kane. She is the battalion chief that's here in Battalion 1, which is the sort of downtown area. And I also have Lieutenant Matt Burnham, who is the officer on Engine 1 here in the downtown area.
How many things can put out a fire?
So that depends on how big the fire is. So on a typical, let's say, a house fire, you would get several fire trucks, 3 fire engines, and a ladder truck, and 2 paramedic rescue trucks.
How much do you like being a firefighter?
I love being a firefighter. The reason I chose to be a fireman was to help people. Somebody helped me a long time ago, and there's people in the community that need help, and that's what I'm here for. And every single men and woman that works in Albuquerque Fire Rescue, essentially that's what we love doing. We love helping people, and being a firefighter enables me to do that.
I just have to ask one question. I envision firefighters sliding down a pole, like, hurry, there's the fire, and everyone slides down the pole. Is that for real?
That used to be for real. Yeah. In the old school fire stations, that absolutely used to be the way we would get down to the trucks. So here, right next door to us at Fire Station 1, where the firefighters used to sleep in the bunk room, was upstairs. And when there was an alarm or an emergency that would come in, all the men and women would slide down the pole and to the first floor and get to the trucks. But due to safety reasons, unfortunately, we don't have those types of fire poles in the fire stations.
It really looked like fun, though.
I'm sure it was, yeah.
Wait, so if the pole thing was real, does that mean there's actually Dalmatians?
Oh, yeah, what about the Dalmatian thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, that is a very good question. So we used to have mascots in the fire service. And the origin of those mascots used to be when the horse-drawn steam engines were in use a long time ago. The use of dogs were in the fire station as sort of a way to help with the horses in terms of looking after them and those sorts of things. And then it's evolved, and again, like the same with the fire poles in the fire stations, we don't have too many mascots, and that's unfortunate, but there used to be Dalmatians in the firehouse.
I can think of where we can get 101 for you, Dalmatians. You brought a fire truck on the side of the Levitated Toy Factory here. It's on 7th Street and Silver.
Yes, we did. It's Fire Station 1 is right next door to us, so Engine 1 is right across the alley.
We have to ask briefly, first of all, kids can explore that fire truck, right?
Absolutely.
Go all over it?
Yes,
That's pretty exciting. And you all have the most beautiful mural on the side of your building. Fire Station 1 is the one that has this incredible 3-dimensional mural.
Yes, we do.
Pretty amazing. Is that a city project, public art project?
That was
from years ago?
That was produced from a firefighter years ago, and I believe it was 1998.
Wow.
I might be mistaken, but I think that's about when it was created.
Lieutenant Tom Ruiz is the Public Information Officer for Albuquerque Fire Rescue. And you all are always posting really informative stuff to your social media feeds. I recommend everyone follow you.
Correct.
ABQ Fire.
That is our
everywhere. It's on Instagram.
It's on Twitter and on Facebook.
And we want to thank you for being with us, Lieutenant Tom Ruiz. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
And you're tuned to the Children's Hour. This is Brian Vogan from a CD called Little Songs.
Do you want to be a firefighter, driving by in your big red truck? Do you want to turn on the siren, hit the switch, make the ladder go up?
Do you wanna be a firefighter at the station in your big red hat? When you hear that fire bell ringing down the pole in seconds flat, jump in the fire truck, cruise into the scene. Get on the radio, tell them what you see, you can do it. Get out the fire hose, spray it all down. Go in the window if that's what you wanna do.
Do you wanna be a firefighter? You can feed the Dalmatian named Jim. Clean the fireboat in the harbor, just in case you wanna take it for a spin.
Do you wanna be a firefighter with the children at the schools? Give a talk about fire safety. You can do it if you really want to. Jump in the fire truck, cruise into the scene. Get on the radio, tell them what you see, you can do it. Get out the fire hose, spray it all down. Go in the window and get the people out, you can do it. If that's what you wanna do. If that's what you wanna do. In the fire truck, cruise into the scene. Get on the radio, tell them what you see, you can do it. Get out the fire hose, spray it all down. Go in the window and get the people out, you can do it. If that's what you wanna do. If that's what you wanna do.
Brian Vogan from a CD called Little Songs. This is the Children's Hour. We are broadcasting live from the Levitated Toy Factory. Yay! We've got a huge crew here in the studio, or non-studio, in the Levitated, and you can hear a lot of noise out there. Kids are able to tour a fire truck right now and wander around, and you're welcome to come. If you haven't come already, we welcome you now. So with us today is Battalion Chief Emily Kane, and welcome to the Children's Hour, Battalion Chief Kane.
Thank you, Katie. Thanks for having me.
I'm just so happy you're here. And you'll notice if you look around the room, even though we have lots of boys on our crew, Evan's still here in the room, but you're looking at mostly girls in our crew right now, because we wanted to talk with you about being a woman firefighter. And Julia had a really good question for you to start off.
About what percentage of all firefighters are female?
Well, in Albuquerque, we have twice the national average, but it's still only 6%.
Wow, we have twice the national average. Why do you think? Is that because of folks like you who have made it look really appealing for women?
And before me, there were many other great female firefighters who really broke down the barriers and helped the rest of us come into the ranks and feel welcome.
How does it feel like being a woman firefighter from all the other men firefighters?
It's like having a whole bunch of brothers. Do any of you have brothers?
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
3.
Yeah.
It's like having 300 brothers.
I'm curious, don't firefighters stay at the stations and sleep there and stuff? Do you sleep at the station?
When we do get a chance to sleep, we have our own beds and our own space, so it's kind of like having your own room in a house.
Oh, yeah.
Why are there so few women firefighters?
It used to be thought that women couldn't do the job, and so there was a lot of publicity that made women feel that they couldn't. But since Title IX and many other good achievements, women can do anything they want. All the barriers are being broken down. So we want you all here, all you ladies, to think about it as a possible job, career.
Is the fire equipment uncomfortable?
So that's another place where we've improved. It used to be you had to wear whatever everyone wore, and the jackets didn't fit. I had the worst time with gloves, of all things. Finally, they have gloves that fit women, jackets that fit just right. I like the gear now. It's so much better, and it's light.
And when you go in to handle a situation, the equipment, it just seems like they're carrying so much equipment. And you are, too. You're pretty strong.
Sure, you're carrying at least 70 pounds of gear.
that women can handle that.
Yes, of course. We used to carry 2 kids one on each hip, so we've got it.
How many times have you been in a fire?
Many. A few hundred.
Wow. Is it kind of scary to go into a house that's burning?
No, we have really good training, and we have great officers supervising us. So even though it's scary, it's more exciting, and you have a job to do.
What kind of training does it take to become a firefighter?
So obviously there'll be a lot of physical training, but the big thing about firefighting is that you can't do it by yourself. So you train as a crew with a lot of team members. So it's like having a team sport. If anyone plays volleyball or basketball or softball or something like that, it's like that because everybody has a job to do.
Battalion Chief Emily Kane, you were once a state representative here in our district.
I cannot deny it.
Down here. Was that job very different from being a firefighter?
Sure. It was interesting because I was with a lot of grown-ups who took things very, very seriously. And in the firehouse, we have an interesting sense of humor. Things are a little bit different. We have a very serious job. However, in the firehouse, it seemed like we were able to be pretty relaxed. At the state legislature, I think a lot of times people would ask me when I was making speeches if I was stressed or anxious or worried about it. Compared to what I do for a living, it was easy. But it was very slow motion, whereas what I do for a job, we do things fast.
You're the battalion chief. What does that actually mean? What are the different roles, and what do we call a whole group of firefighters? It's not. Is it a crew? Is it what do you call yourselves?
So you have a station, and they are a group. The station has a shift. So we identify each station by what shift they're on: A shift, B shift, or C shift. So if you're C shift, station 1, it's a certain group that usually works there. I'm on B shift, and I have 6 fire stations in my battalion. When we respond, it's usually just a few apparatus from each station, unless it's a fire, and then we pretty much get everybody.
One of the things I've seen firefighters do is save people's lives on the highway using these incredible tools that actually extract people from cars when these thousands of pound cars are trapping them.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that, what that's like?
You're talking about the jaws of life, and they are hydraulic tools that can get through metal and open things up. Probably the most exciting time I used the spreader, the jaws of life, was to open a truck. The driver had been taken out, and he told us he had a dog in the back. And we opened the door, and we pulled the dog out through the opening we made. He was fine, and we sent him to the animal hospital. So that was a fun extrication.
Do anybody get hurt?
Firefighters, I think.
Do firefighters get hurt? Yes, we do. We get all kinds of injuries that we recover from. The worst thing that we get that people are focusing on these days is sometimes we get certain cancers because of being exposed to the smoke and fumes and things.
That is Battalion Chief Emily Kane from Albuquerque Fire Rescue. And I want to thank you so much, Battalion Chief Kane, for being with us on the Children's Hour this morning. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Rowan McJimsey on the keyboard. Rowan McJimsey on the keyboards. You're tuned to the Children's Hour. This is Dennis Beyer. Dennis Beyer from a CD called American Firefighter, the title track. And today the Children's Hour is broadcasting live from the Levitated Toy Factory in Albuquerque. It's at 7th and Silver. We have a fire truck right outside that you can go explore. And anyone's welcome. Everyone's welcome. And we're so delighted because with us on the air today and at the Levitated is Lieutenant Matt Beyer. Am I getting that right, Matt?
Burnham.
See, I lost my paper. Matt Burnham, welcome to the Children's Hour.
Thank you.
Thanks for being with us. Matt Burnham is lieutenant at the Albuquerque Fire Rescue Station. Are you at station number 1?
Station 1, yep. 9 years.
9 years, station number 1. Well, the kids are all ready for you, and take it away.
What is a day in the life of a firefighter like?
Good question. So it depends on who you ask because we're all different ranks. We have firefighters, drivers, lieutenants, captains, battalion chiefs. So depending on who you ask, they have different responsibilities. My responsibility as a lieutenant, I've been a lieutenant for an hour and a half, by the way. My responsibility as a lieutenant, thank you.
Wait, what does that mean that you've been a lieutenant for an hour and a half?
I got promoted today.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Appreciate that. So my responsibility when I come in is to check emails. We have this website that we have to get on called SharePoint where we find out what our responsibilities are for the day. So for instance, this morning, if I had looked on SharePoint, I would have known we were supposed to be here at 8:30. So our drivers come in, they check the trucks. They make sure all of the equipment on our trucks are operational. Make sure all the fluids in all the chainsaws and engines and stuff like that are all, full. Our firefighters check our medical bags, and they make sure that the coffee is made.
How many days of the week do you work?
So we work 48 hours straight. So we got here at 8 o'clock this morning. We will get off at 8 a.m. on Monday morning.
What's it like staying at the station?
It's interesting. Like Battalion Chief Kane said in the last segment, it's like having a bunch of brothers. So it's like having a big slumber party for 48 hours.
What do firefighters do when you're not out in the world helping people?
Good question. So we do have quite a bit of downtime depending on which station we're at. Some of the slower stations have more downtime. If you're on East Central somewhere, you don't have quite so much downtime. But we like to fill our downtime with the responsibilities that we have around the station, such as making it clean, maintenance on some of our tools. We do a lot of training. Training is really big in the fire department. We always have to do training. Part of our responsibility also is to familiarize ourselves with our district. So, for instance, we would go out we'll just pick a building in our district and walk it and make sure we know the layout of the building, what type of occupancy it is, how many people are usually in it, are there people in there at night? Just a lot of good information that we need to know if we actually have to respond to that building.
Is there a limit of firefighters that can be in some place in a fire?
Do you mean like in the fire station, like in a house?
Yeah.
So like, for instance, our house, we have an engine, a ladder, and a rescue. So there's 9 guys. We have 4 guys on an engine, 3 guys on a ladder, and 2 guys on a rescue. Some stations only have an engine and a rescue. Some stations have an engine, ladder, rescue, a squad, and a battalion chief. So it differs from station to station.
How many emergencies do you typically respond to per day?
So, like I said, there's slower stations, and then there's more busy stations. If we're on East Central somewhere, Station 5, Station 12, in a given day, somewhere between 20 and 30 calls a day, which is quite a bit. Engine 1 is usually somewhere in between 10 and 15 calls a day.
What is eating like in the fire station?
So that's a good question. People sometimes forget that we have to eat when we're at work for 48 hours. So a lot of times you'll be at the grocery store and you'll see a big fire truck in front of the grocery store. Have you guys ever seen a fire truck at the grocery store? Yeah. And we're shopping and everybody's like, "What are you guys doing here?" We got to eat. So we collect money from everybody on the crew, usually $20 for our 2 days, $20 from each person. We go to the grocery store, and we'll plan 2 breakfasts and 2 dinners. And everybody's kind of on their own for lunch and snacks and stuff like that. But we have a kitchen. Each station has a kitchen, and usually, honestly, it's like Frito pies and spaghetti or hamburgers and chicken sandwiches, just real simple stuff. Yeah.
You have to actually pay yourself for the food that you eat while you're on your 48-hour shift?
Yeah, everybody pitches in, like I said, $20.
Seems like that should change.
You can ask the mayor about that if you like.
Yes, we maybe should ask the mayor who's listening. Maybe they shouldn't have to buy their own food if they're working 48 hours.
If we're working on holidays, we worked Christmas Eve and Christmas, a lot of people brought food, and that was really great. So we didn't have to buy our own food that cycle.
When you all responded to an emergency we had at our house, you saved the life of my daughter.
Wow.
When she was a baby. Mm-hmm. And I almost cried telling the story because it was so emotional, and you all were so calm, and you really did save her life. And I felt so incredibly indebted, and I showed up at the fire station with tons of food and a gift basket. Mm-hmm. And I remember the guy who received it wasn't the same shift. Right. So he was kind of like, okay, thanks.
Yeah. It happens quite a bit. I mean, people like to bring us stuff, and that's great. And it's like, well, I wasn't there, but I'll take your cookies.
I think this is a message for everyone in Albuquerque that they do like cookies, and you can drop them off, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
What's the average fires in one day?
So usually, I think in our city, somewhere between 1 and 2 fires a day, and not really great big fires that you see on the news. A lot of them are usually just like somebody's bedroom or a small kitchen fire, but usually about 1 fire a day.
How do you like being a firefighter?
I love it. It's a great job. It's a great schedule, too. Like I said, we work for 48 hours straight, and then we're off for 4 days. So for 4 days in a row, I get to be with my wife and kids.
It sounds cool.
I'm sorry?
It sounds cool.
It's really cool. Yes.
What would you say is it's something that's like a crazy story or something? I don't know.
I mean, like I said, I've been doing this job for 10 years. We see crazy stuff all the time, and so it kind of just we take those situations and we try not to think about them too much, because in situations like that could be the worst day of that person's life that we just responded to, and so we have to kind of keep our emotions aside and try not to think about it a lot.
But how do you handle the stress of this? It must be a very stressful job to not know day to day what you're going to face, and you're really sometimes facing things that are either really scary for you or scary for the person or just traumatic to witness. How do you all handle your own emotional and mental health?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like Battalion Chief Kane said in the last segment, we've got a weird sense of humor, and that's kind of how we deal with it. But it's very relaxed at the station, and sometimes in our downtime, we can be watching a movie, and in the next minute, we'll be on the fire truck racing towards a fire. So emotions are very relaxed for 1 second, and then all of a sudden, your emotions are really, really high in stressful situations. So it's a tough thing to manage.
Do firefighters actually save kittens from trees?
We respond to animal rescues, yes.
The kids are happy about this.
I've never personally had to rescue a cat out of a tree, no.
They can typically get down on their own.
Yeah, usually.
For folks that don't know. We're talking with Lieutenant Matt Burnham from Albuquerque Fire Rescue, telling us about the day in the life of a firefighter. And it sounds like a day in the life of the firefighter is 48 hours long.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
You have a much longer day than the rest of us.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, you're working with a wonderful group of people who are also dedicated. One thing I've noticed about all the firefighters who are here, everyone's really fit and strong. Are you all like working out all the time?
Yeah, so each fire station does have its own gym, and that's important to us. We got to stay fit. Firefighting is not an easy thing to do. Putting on all that equipment, like Battalion Chief Kane said, somewhere in between 70 pounds, sometimes 100 pounds, depending on what equipment you're carrying. You got to be physically fit, or else you can't do the job. So we try to work out regularly.
Lieutenant Burnham, if a family or a child sees a fire or something, I know it's a rare thing, but really, what's the first steps that someone should do if there's a fire? What should someone do?
Call 911.
Second step, what if the fire is so close and it's near you and it's getting on you? What do people do to stop a fire?
Stop, drop, and roll. Have you guys heard that before? Stop, drop, and roll. Get out of the house. Don't try and save your cat. We'll take care of your cat. Don't go grab your favorite stuffed animal. Just get out. But you need to call 911 as soon as you can to get that ball rolling, because depending on where you live, it could be anywhere between 2 and 4, maybe even 6 minutes by the time we get to your house. And in that amount of time, it seems like such a short amount of time, but in that amount of time for us, conditions in the house can change from small smoldering fire to a big booming fire. So,
if there's a fire station close to your house, how long could it take?
Yeah, like I said, usually anywhere between 4 and 6 minutes, depending on the severity. So if it's a really big emergency, we'll come lights and sirens, and it'll be a couple minutes, 2, 3, 4 minutes. If it's not as severe and we feel like we don't need to put on our lights and sirens, then it'll be somewhere between 6 and 8 minutes.
So, how you say stop, drop, and roll, what does rolling do to the fire?
Yeah, so rolling will actually suppress the fire. So if you have, like, if your shirt's on fire, and then if you roll on top of your shirt, it'll smother the fire. Basically, take all the oxygen out of the fire, and it'll stop it from burning.
Lieutenant Burnham, are our Albuquerque fire rescue people the same ones who are going and responding to wildfires out in the wilderness?
Yes, yeah. So actually, we're a downtown crew here. We actually have a brush truck, which is a wildland fighting apparatus, at our station because we're so close to the Bosque area. So this district and a few other districts around the city are all specially trained in wildland firefighting.
So what do you do if a house isn't like you said, like 4 or 6 minutes away? What do you do?
You mean if
we get there as fast as we can. That's all we can do, yeah.
Lieutenant Matt Burnham, now a lieutenant at Albuquerque Fire Rescue, thank you so much for being with us on the Children's
Thanks for
Hour.
having me.
We're broadcasting live from the Levitated Toy Factory.
Everybody, everywhere, must remember these 3 important little words can save your life, so please memorize and learn them, never to forget, 'cause these 3 little words could someday be your safety net. Stop, drop, and roll, just remember to stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and roll, never panic, just stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and roll, don't go on and just stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and roll, everybody just stop, drop, and roll. One day I was cooking and I spilled a little oil. The element burst into flames and before I could recoil, my dress was loose and caught on fire and I freaked out and ran. But then those little words came to my mind and I began to stop, drop, and roll. Just remember to stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and roll, never panic, just stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and roll, don't go on and just stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and roll, everybody just stop, drop, and roll. Never play with matches, never play with lighters, never get too close or play around with your campfires. Sometimes we are careless when we get too excited, so please remember these 3 words that close become ignited. Stop, drop, and roll, just remember to stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and roll, never panic, just stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and roll, don't go on and just stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and roll, everybody just stop, drop,
Sing Out. Sing Out Fire Safety is the name of that tune by Mary Lambert. And you're not going to believe it, you guys. The kids have news for you. Please tell us. Yeah, what happened?
Okay, so there has been a real fire, so they had to go and actually protect a fire right now.
Woohoo! I mean, in a way, I'm super excited, but that means our fire truck had to actually go to work, huh?
Yeah, but they said they'll come back.
That's pretty great. That's pretty great. And was it pretty cool? Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. I just remembered that my grandpa used to be a fireman.
That's pretty
so
cool.
I got to go in a fire truck before, and they had a green fire truck, which I thought was really, really cool.
That is cool.
They had like secret compartments to where they like have all their equipment in there. I got to turn the fire truck on.
Wow.
And I got to blow the siren. Yeah.
Wow.
It was awesome.
This is
so loud. I was in the truck while it was
You are
happening.
tuned to the Children's Hour right here. We're broadcasting live from the Levitated Toy Factory. You can hear us online at childrenshour.org or at kunm.org, broadcasting on 89.9 FM in Albuquerque. In the studio with us is... We're not really in a studio. In the Levitated Toy Factory with us is Rowan. Is Rowan McJimsey. Rowan, welcome back to the Children's Hour.
All right.
All right. Rowan's going to play something for us. Is this an original composition? No, this is not an original composition. Rowan, take it away. Rowan McJimsey, live at the Levitated Toy Factory, live here on the Children's Hour.
The Children's Hour is a production of the Children's Hour Incorporated, public radio for and with kids.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Links, podcasts, and more are at childrenshour.org.
Today's show was broadcast from the Levitated Toy Factory. Our deepest thanks to Jared and Lori Tarbell from the Levitated for sharing their beautiful space with us today. And we also want to thank Albuquerque Fire Rescue Station Number 1, including Lieutenant Ruiz, Battalion Chief Emily Kane, and Lieutenant Matt Burnham. They all had to go off to a real fire emergency, so let's give them a huge round of applause for once again saving people's lives. Just something they do every day. Thank you so much to all the kids and families who came out today. Next week, we're back in the studios of KUNM. The state legislature is about to convene here in New Mexico, and we're going to be joined by Representative Liz Thompson, along with the kids in Wild Friends, New Mexico, to talk about what they are doing during the session. So that's next week on the Children's Hour. In the meantime, many thanks to Rowan McJimsey handling the keyboard. And we're going to go out with a band called Cross Pulse Percussion Ensemble. I like everything about you. This is called Breaths. Thanks for being with us on the Children's Hour. We'll catch you next week. The Children's Hour podcast is made possible in part by Meow Wolf. Meow Wolf, your portal to the multiverse. Meow Wolf proudly supports the Children's Hour Incorporated. Supporting our community means a lot to Albuquerque-based Kay and Molly Textiles, which is why they're proud to support the Children's Hour podcasts. Their print studio is committed to creating great jobs that include health and education benefits, leadership development, and flexible hours for new immigrants and refugees in Albuquerque. Find their hand-printed towels at their retail store or in a store near you nationwide. More at kayandmolly.com. That's K-E-I and Molly.com.
Those who have died have never, never left. The dead are not under the earth. They are in the rusting trees. They are in the groaning woods. They are in the crying grass. They are in the moaning rocks. The dead are not under the earth. So listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. To the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. To the ancestors' breath in the voice of the water. I wish those who have died have never, never left. The dead have a pact with the living. They are in the woman's birth. They are in the waiting child. They are with us in the home. They are with us in the crowd. The dead have a pact with the living. So listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings.
Boom.